So the project lineup of turntable is quite easy to understand. We have many models, but it's quite simple. The more expensive we're getting in the range, the bigger the chassis, the more expensive the platters, the more expensive the tone arms, the details, the feeds. Here we're having the X2, which is basically coming out of the P2, which is designed in 1992 already. Yeah. So what is the difference between my first turntable, the P1, and the P2? So the P1 was then following up in the X1. The debut actually was coming then in 1990, way later. So the difference was that the chassis was bigger and the tone arm was longer. So this is a 9-inch tone arm versus the X1, and the debut is based on an 8.6 arm. What is the advantage of a longer tone arm? The advantage of a longer tone arm is that the tracking angle is not so steep and so have less distortion. Which means, again, what we learn, the longer the tone arm, the less distortion. Therefore, we have also an extension 10 and an extension 12 because we have longer tone arms and less distortion. But because the tone arm is longer, also the chassis must be bigger. Here on the X2 we have already a very massive chassis, which is already 3 times more heavy than, for example, a debut chassis. It has again our aluminum height adjustable feeds. The platter here is a 2.5 kilo acryl platter. So also, as you hear, very damped. Not as good as our super heavy metal aluminum platter, but definitely better than the cheaper, let's say, pressed steel platter which you see around. Yeah. Here we have a very sophisticated suspension of the motor. The motor is hanging on 4 grommets, we call it, yeah, and on small little rings, O-rings, which makes the motor very elegant, isolated from the chassis. It's not as perfect like on the RPM line, where the motor is completely isolated, but it's already close to be fully isolated. The platter design is the same like on the debut, the sub-platter design. Yeah. Then the tone arm is halfway already to our superlative high-end Evolution series. What is the difference? As I explained, the gimbals, the mass of the gimbals is a little bit lower, but way higher mass than you usually find in this price range. And the carbon fiber is not conical and not as dense as on the Evolution high-end tone arms. And also what we don't have in comparison to the high-end Evolution arms is the tone arm holder is not done out of massive aluminum, so it's a little bit simpler tone arm holder, still very good, but not as sophisticated like on our super high-end arms. But it has already the VTA adjustment by the massive aluminum base. So the X2 is a perfect turntable where you need higher mass because you have higher end speakers which have more power, where let's say one of our entry-level turntable would not have the stability which you get from an X2.